And what about my Asian superhero? Where's my Asian superhero? Bruce Lee's your Asian superhero. Bruce Lee was a fucking person, you idiot. I want an Asian superhero. Where's that, huh? Where's my yellow fucking panda, huh? Do you see me complaining? I'm complaining right now, aren't I? Let's go find yellow panda, bitches. Alright, so if you Google the term Asian comic book superheroes, you might come across a website called Comic Vine, which has a list. Actually, I found a list of 49 Asian superheroes. Now, I challenge you, if you know more than 5 of the names that are on this list, then you must know your shit when it comes to comic books, because I was going through this list like, who the fuck are these people, right? Now, there was probably only 2 names that I recognized instantly. The first one being Katana, who you may know from the Suicide Squad movie. I mean, that's the only reason I knew her, and now I know her because of that. That movie was not good. The other character was, I recognized straight away, as Jubilee. I was like, I know Jubilee from the X-Men, right? I remember Jubilee, I believe, from the X-Men cartoons, X-Men 90s cartoon series, which I used to watch. It was a very good series, actually. I remember back in the day, I was into X-Men. Not so much the comics, but I really liked that X-Men cartoon. I do remember Jubilee, however, when I saw Jubilee on this list, I was like, what? She was Asian? So I'm only going to talk about a few characters that I found that are potentials for my yellow panda. The first one is Cindy Moon, also known as Silk, who is a Spider Girl who's part of the Spider-Verse. Now, I'm pretty sure on Comic Vine, I don't have it with me right now, I'm pretty sure it says like what type of Asian they are, and I'm pretty sure it said something like possibly Korean American. It's like, possibly, what's that even mean? So the story with Cindy Moon, aka Silk, is that she was bitten by the same radioactive spider that bit Peter Parker. So the spider bit Peter Parker, who went on to be Spider-Man. This spider, before it died, managed to actually get a little bit of a love bite on Cindy Moon as well. And I believe, I didn't look into it too much, but I believe she was became some sort of government experiment sort of thing, or she was kidnapped by the government to learn how to use her powers. Now, I know I do a lot of shout outs to people you guys don't know, but I have to give a shout out to 2 of my good buddies, Ashby and Tony, who I refer to as my comic book super friends. When I first got into comic books, it's a scary world. I had no idea where to start, and Ashby and Tony really sort of took me in and said, hey, we'll take you to all the shops in the city and we'll show you around, show you how it all works. And so I'm always grateful for that, but the reason I'm giving them a shout out is because they kind of come into play on this whole search for a yellow panda. So Ashby actually one day just came into work and said, hey, here's a bunch of comics I went through, you can have these, right? And guess what? We had some Asian superhero action, and he gave me this. I actually just went through the list before. I didn't know this was in there. He gave me issue 1 of Silk. I don't know when this is from, but kind of cool that he's given me this. I will probably read it one day, and I know that Silk is, I think, quite popular amongst Spider fans who are into the whole Spider-Verse thing. Supposedly when she every time she meets Peter Parker or comes across Peter Parker, their spider senses just go crazy and they just can't help but just get it on. So yeah, apparently Silk is actually quite a big deal, I think, in the Spider-Verse. I don't know a lot about her, but this gives me a good chance to actually find out about her. I probably should have read it before I do this video, but I don't do a lot of research for my videos. I would have come off natural and shit like that, so yeah, I'll get around to this one day. Alright, so the next Asian superhero I'm going to talk about is a Korean bloke named Amadeus Cho. Who is Amadeus Cho, you ask? Well, he is the totally awesome Hulk. Oh my god, thanks Ashby. Ashby also happened to give me this, almost like I just want all his Asian superhero leftovers. So I don't really know the story. I mean, I read a little bit about the history of how he became the Hulk, but it didn't really make sense to me. But Amadeus Cho is apparently the 8th smartest person in the world. What a coincidence, number 8, because you know Asians, they like the number 8, so he's the 8th smartest person in the world. So apparently he has like a hypermind or something like that, which means he can calculate endless possibilities in his brain in like an instant, and that's his thing. Alright, now the main reason I made this video was really about my favourite candidate for a yellow panda. So when I first raised the question of where is my yellow panda, I think ask Ashby and my friend Tony, my comic book super friends, and Tony came back to me within like 3 minutes and said, oh, the new Superman is Chinese. And I was like, Say what? Turns out there is a new Superman and he is Chinese. In fact, he's so Chinese they didn't even want to call him Superman. They had to call him the new Superman. The new Dash Superman. So of course I actually ran out and got this comic. I had to find out about this Chinese Superman because, you know, my background is Chinese. So the new Superman is a kid called Kenan Kong. It's quite interesting. I've only really read this first issue. This comic series only had a 24 run issue. It actually got cancelled last year, I believe. They did 24 issues and then that was it, because obviously people don't give a fuck about Chinese Superman. So the story follows this kid, Kenan Kong, who in this first issue, I mean, he's a bit of a bully. He's not really that much of a likable character. A little bit of a tubby kid, and yeah, he picks on this one kid that you're like, why is this guy going to be the new Superman? So there is a bit in the story where the kid that he bullies, he actually comes across that kid while that kid is being attacked by this Chinese villain called Blue Condor. Blue Condor, I think? Yeah, Blue Condor. So this kid is normally getting bullied by Kenan Kong, is being sort of attacked by Blue Condor, and Kenan comes along and actually, I can't remember what he does, but he basically scares him off. So he actually saves the kid that he's used to bullying. It actually makes news and becomes a big story in China, and the government or something find out about it. So Kenan is basically chosen to be part of this like government sort of experiment thing, where they basically zap him with this stuff that basically gives him the powers of Superman. And all of a sudden this tubby bully kid is like a big buff dude who can fly and, you know, do all this crazy shit. Now, one thing I really like about this Superman character is there's a couple of images. It's not on the cover here, but there's a lot of images of his Superman logo where the S is actually made up of like a yin and yang sort of logo. I think that looks really badass. There's an image I've seen of him that it looks sick. So I must say I actually really enjoyed the story in this first issue. However, something I did know about the story that was going to happen, I just didn't know it was going to happen so soon, is in the very last, so basically the government, the reason they make this kid Superman is because they want to create a Justice League of China, right? So, and I knew this was going to happen because I sort of looked into all the different issues and things, but in the very last panel of this story, basically come crashing into the story is Chinese Batman and Chinese Wonder Woman. I'm not down with that. I just think that's the dumbest shit ever. Why can't they just have Chinese fucking heroes? Why do we have to just... I mean, look, I know China are fucking known for fucking ripping shit off and making it their own, but please, come on, please. Can't they just have their own heroes? They had their own villain, Blue Condor. Why can't it just be... I mean, I understand you can have Chinese Superman. I mean, that kind of makes sense. But Chinese Batman and Chinese Wonder Woman was just like, oh my god, please. So look, I may or may not continue to... Actually, there's a part of me that really wants to collect this whole series. I mean, 24 issues is I feel like I can do that, you know? But it's just a real struggle for me to really accept this storyline of the Justice League of China with Chinese Batman and Chinese Wonder Woman. It's just, it seems really silly to me. I have looked into all this sort of issues, and apparently eventually he does go to America and actually meet the real Superman, which is what I sort of do want to read about, but really, I feel like I've got to read through a whole bunch of eye-rolling shit to fucking get to that part of the story. So who knows, I may or may not. Look, I think one day, if I ever get the time, I would like to read the story of New Superman. I just feel like, because, you know, China represent, I guess. Now, just one more bit of news I had to just talk about in this story is, while doing a little bit of research on this, I mean, I already done research on this a long time ago, but I had to revisit for this video, is I found a little story on a website called Polygon on my iPad, which talks about the Asian superhero Shang-Chi. Shang who? Yeah, Shang-Chi, I know, right? Who the fuck's Shang-Chi? The first Marvel superhero movie featuring an Asian protagonist is being fast-tracked by the studio, reports Deadline. Focused on martial arts hero Shang-Chi. The film will be penned by Chinese-American screenwriters, da-da-da-da. What is his superpower? His superpower is martial arts? Like, my god, please. What the hell? That is not a superpower. I'm sorry. But look, you know what? We'll take it, right? We'll take the martial arts thing. If it wasn't this, his superpower probably would have been like making dumplings or some racist shit like that, right? Now, here's the thing, right? Marvel allegedly wants to create a film with as much impact for the Asian and Asian American communities as Black Panther garnered with the African and African American communities. You know what that is? That's Yellow Panda. So look, I don't know fuck all about Shang-Chi, but it looks like he's been picked to be the Yellow Panda. I still say New Superman should be Yellow Panda, but whatever. We'll see how this movie goes, and if it does come to fruition, it will be quite interesting to see. But we'll see what happens. Alright, before I go, I just want to say, look, when I grew up, I basically was a little bit different. I mean, I'm not your typical Asian kid. In fact, I'm Aussie as fuck. I mean, you can tell by my bogan accent, right? When I was growing up, I guess the world was a bit different. I did deal with a little, a bit of racism and shit growing up, so I really just wanted to really not fall into any of those stereotypes. I really did everything I could to just be my own person. I never wanted to be thought of as an Asian person. All the way up to like when people call me a punk because I played in a punk band. I don't like being called a punk because I feel like along with that comes with all these rules. Like, I just want to be a dude. Like when people say you Asian or you punk or you this or that, I'm just like, I'm just a dude, you know what I mean? But look, as I've gotten older, I do realize you should be proud of your background and things like that. But still, at the end of the day, I just want to be a person. I don't want to be classed as Asian or whatever. I just want to be a person, right? One of my favorite quotes of all time in the history of anything is a quote from a famous Bruce Lee interview. You may have seen it before. It's a black and white interview that he's getting interviewed in, and the host asks him, "Hey Bruce, do you prefer to be recognized as Chinese or American?" And Bruce Lee just has the best answer in the world, where he basically says, I'd rather be thought of as a human being, because under this sky, we are all brothers and sisters. I butchered that quote. That's, I didn't say it correctly, but you should look up that interview. He's a really smart dude, that guy. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, growing up, I feel like, I was almost embarrassed to be Asian, but that wasn't really the case. I hated being stereotyped, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way because it's something that I guess I think about a lot, that a little bit embarrassed about the way I acted about things growing up, but now, I'm all about it. You should be proud of your background, and yeah, Bruce Lee's the fucking man. Anyway, thanks again for watching my Yellow Panda video. Hope you learned something, and we'll see what happens. We'll see who the real Yellow Panda is. Hey, maybe my YouTube channel will take off and I'll be Yellow Panda. Anyway, see you next time, bitches.